Hi, this is a quick video that I've been meaning to do about welfare gains, welfare losses, or deadweight welfare loss that you come across in economics, whether it's for like externalities, information gaps, monopolies. They can look different, they can involve slightly different curves, but they kind of represent very similar things. The problem is it's not a easy topic. There's lots of layers to it. And to be honest, there are several ways I could explain this. So I'm going into this video knowing that there could be a few ways that might not suit you best. And you could be entering into a video that's harder than you initially maybe wanted. But hopefully it ends up being worthwhile. Hopefully it really helps you to gain a deeper understanding with what these triangles actually mean. Okay, so first of all, these triangles, welfare gain, what they really mean is social welfare gain or social welfare loss. So they are, first of all, referring to society. So one mistake that people make is that these triangles are just about third parties. No, they're about society as a whole. So this means firms, this means consumers, this means third parties, it means everyone. So instead of just thinking about third parties, we are now going to first of all start thinking about everybody. What's been the impact on the firms, the consumers, and the third parties by only producing at Q1 or compared to Q star? The other thing to notice is that these things are they're changes. So they're talking about compared to Q1. Has there been a loss in social welfare or has there been a gain in social welfare? So we need to understand that these are talking about changes. Right, so let's work on one at a time. We will hide this one for now. There's going to be a longer video today. So let's break this triangle down further. Okay, so if I want to understand what the possible welfare gain is from moving from Q1 to Q star, I will first of all have to calculate or work out the social welfare at Q1. Sorry for my audio, it's not as good as typically, but I will improve it. And I'll have to work out the social welfare at Q star. When I have that, then I can compare them. And then when I compare them, I am working out these triangle things. So if I work out the social welfare at Q star, sorry, at Q1 compared to Q star, I should see that there is a possible welfare gain of area, label it, area ABC, or this blue area that we're talking about. So that's kind of like the logic that I'm going to go about in this video today. I am just going to work out the social welfare at Q1 and the social welfare at Q star. I will tell you like a faster way of doing it. Some people find it better. This isn't generally an easy topic, but hopefully that big picture logic is clear to you. Okay, so we actually have to work out the social welfare at Q1 and Q star. But that then opens up kind of a Pandora's box, right? Now you need to start thinking about, okay, how do I actually work out social welfare? I've never done this before. Do I actually need to know this? All this kind of stuff. Long story short, this could be possibly more advanced than you need. However, if you want to understand these triangles, you kind of need to understand sort of what's going on. As I have mentioned, there are different ways to go about this triangle. So no, there could be other ways for you to look at it and understand it as well. All right, so if we want to work out social welfare, we need to understand what social welfare is. So social welfare is a society thing. So it's not just third parties. It's going to include consumers, producers, and third parties. And we're going to take all the benefits that they receive and we're going to minus the costs that they have paid. That's how we're going to calculate social welfare. This bit is probably the scary bit, but that's logically on a big picture level what I'm going to do. I'm going to work out the social benefits at Q1, or Q1 like this. Then I'm going to work out the social costs at Q1, and then I have all the elements to work out the social welfare at Q1. Okay, so this is Pandora's box, right? So social benefits. What is social benefits? The benefits to everyone in society. So in this diagram, it's kind of complex because we have the benefits to the private firm here, we have the benefits to the third parties here. This is the MEB, how third parties have been helped, and we have the benefits for a marginal unit here. So there are various ways to work this out, but one thing to note is that we want to work out total social benefits, but we don't have total social benefits. The best case that we have in this diagram is marginal social benefits. As an example, one extra medical appointment could give you a extra satisfaction of, I don't know, 2 happy faces, because now you know you're going to be getting treatment for some kind of medical problem that you were having before. But that's not necessarily the total satisfaction that you've received for all of the medical appointments that you've consumed so far in all your life. The total medical appointment satisfaction could be, I don't know, 100 happy faces possibly, because thanks for that, you could be very healthy, you could be very happy, all these kinds of things. So there's a difference between the marginal and total, but to work out social welfare, the total welfare to society, we're looking at the total social benefits minus the total social costs. So that's kind of like the first layer. I don't think it's 100% worth going into that too much today. I think there are some other videos where I did kind of go through this in more detail. It's not simple, but okay, so essentially at Q1, let's just say that we are at Q1 here. I know that the benefit of this extra medical appointment was just that much. This is my marginal social benefit. That's the benefit to society for that medical appointment. But I've had all of the previous medical appointments as well. So my total social benefit to society is all of this area here. It's this massive kind of area. And it's going to get really messy if I rely on colors. So typically people put this as areas, and I'm not too sure if that will make things a little bit even too complicated, but hey. All of the benefits to society from all these medical appointments is the sum of all the marginals up until that quantity. But we've faced the cost. You've had to pay for the doctors, the hospital, all this kind of thing. So we have another curve here to help us out and tell us the marginal social cost. Okay, so the cost to provide these medical services for Q1 was just this, the marginal, but we have not only consumed just the final Q1 unit, we have also consumed all of these prior units as well, going all the way from near zero all the way over to here. So this is the cost to society as a whole. And then that means that the social welfare is going to be the difference between them. So we are literally going to do the purple area minus the orange area. And then if we do this, we get the social welfare, which I might start adding letters now. I'm not too sure how to label it. This is going to get quite messy. Let's just go for the area method. And to be honest, if you're an exam, I don't really think personally that you would mostly go through this in detail in an exam. But if you did have a problem with like colors, you don't have all the colors available to you, then I think it's quite fair to use this labeling method. Some problem there that I've already used A, B, and C, but I'm going to just conveniently ignore that. So all the total social benefits were A plus B, C, D. I will find out in a moment if I've made a mistake. You will see what I mean. Social costs are just going to be the area we said is F, giving us a total social welfare of A, B, C, D, and E. Great. That's how well off we are as society for these Q1 medical services. So many people think that the Q1 outcome is bad. It's not good. But I would phrase it more as it's not optimal. Like, it's actually really good. You are increasing social welfare by all of that area, and it's a massive area. Like, people are very happy in this outcome. Society as a whole is happy in this outcome. It's just not going to be as good as it could be. So we're going to see that by working out the social benefits for Q star and the social costs at Q star, and then we're going to use this to work out the social welfare at Q star. All right, so the social benefits at Q star. So now we have to ignore from our head, we just looked at Q1 and we did all this for Q1. Now we have to look at Q2. Unfortunately, now it's going to get even messier. There's going to be even more things going on. And I really hope this is going to work out. I'm going to put them in a slightly different color because I can't see anymore. I'm going to put this as, actually, I can't even see that color either. I've run out of color options, so I think the best I can do is in fact that color F, A, B, C, D, E, F, whoops, G, H, and I. I need to add more of these because I'm going all the way up to Q star now. Right, so the benefits to society of Q star is going to be looking at the MSB curve and looking at the marginal social benefit that has been gained for all of the units up until Q star. So that's going to be all of that area. All right, so this is everything. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and I. Many benefits to society, but the costs are also higher because to produce more, you've had to hire more doctors. You might have some diminishing returns. And now the costs that have been faced, let's take a look at it now. So we produce Q1. Here is our MSC curve. So this tells us that that unit cost us this much, this one, and this one. All these units have cost us all of that. As a result, the cost of society for Q star is F, H, and I. To work out the social welfare, we then take social benefits minus the social costs. That will be A, B, C, D, E, remove F because we lose it, G, we lose H, we lose I, which gives us the total social welfare of Q star as all of this much. Right, now that we know Q star is also a really great outcome, social welfare is positive, it's good to be consuming Q star of this good, and we know that it's also good to be consuming Q1, we are consuming we're gaining social welfare of A, B, C, D, and E. What we can now do is compare them and say, well, hey, actually, Q1 isn't making us as well off as for society as a whole compared to Q star. We could be better off. So if you see here, total social welfare at Q1 isn't as high as it could be if instead we consume that Q star. We could have gained G. And notice that G is my social welfare gain. So that's all that this social welfare gain area is trying to tell you. That the social welfare at Q star is higher than the social welfare at Q1 by area G, where I labeled it as the triangle ABC, so the G triangle. That means that if, this is hypothetical, we won't get there in a selfish world, but if society were to increase consumption of healthcare from Q1 to Q star, we would have increased social, I can't type that. We would have increased social welfare by area G. Some people would argue this is more allocatively efficient. So the question, is it really? Some people will say, actually, Q star, I mean, maybe it looks good, right? But you haven't taken into the account the costs that it would take to nudge the selfish consumers and the selfish producers to get to Q star. You might have to introduce regulation, or you might have to pay large amounts in subsidies. And is all of that cost worth it for that small increase in G? For example, let's say that we add a subsidy. So let's say that we shift this supply curve all the way down to here because we reduce the firm's costs. I won't go through it in this video, but the cost of that subsidy is going to be all of this area. So all of this is money like gone, spent, just for the benefit of G. So some people would say, well, actually, maybe remaining at Q1 is kind of like the best that we could do. It's not worth trying to get to Q star. You have to consider the methods to get there. You also have to consider that the private individuals don't actually want to get to Q star. For them, Q star is more harmful to them. If you were to go through a similar process where you work out the private costs and the private benefits and compare that, you would see that the normal individuals are actually worse off being at Q star. They want Q1 instead. Okay, so hopefully this is a nice little video telling you a little bit more one method to look at the welfare gain. I will pause this for a second and try and show you the example of the demerit, the negative production externality. All right, so here I have the negative externality in production example. Right now, the free market is producing at Q1 and P1, but it could be argued that it's better to society if we end up producing at Q star quantity. So to see this and understand this welfare loss triangle, you could use the method that we did. So you could work out the social welfare at Q1 and you can work out the social welfare at Q star. And if you do this and you work out the change in social welfare, you will notice that welfare at Q1 is lower by the area in blue. In other words, you've experienced a welfare loss to society of this area. So we can work this out to do it. And then if I have time, I will show you like the fast way to work this out, but I'm just going to give you that without much explanation, unfortunately. So to work out social welfare, work out the benefits, the costs, and work out the difference with it, I really like to use the letter method. So add letters for pretty much everything that you see. You can run into problems with this, but let's just say that in general, there's less problems by doing areas with everything. So benefit to society, add up the MSC. So that's going to be for all the units until Q1. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 8. No, there's no G because MSB doesn't go as high as G. So F, H, I, and J. Add up the costs. So that means add up the MSC for all the units produced. That's D, E, F, H, I, J, and G. And then look at the difference between them. So A, B, and C minus G. I have to take some time to double check that. Yeah, okay. Okay, great. That's the social welfare at Q1. Some people say Q1 is a bad outcome. I personally think it's overall social welfare is positive. It's like a good outcome, but it's not, from a resource allocation perspective, it's not the best outcome. So you could say maybe it's like a bad outcome from that perspective. Right, social welfare at Q star. So let's do it again. Social benefits would be the sum of all the benefits at Q star. So go until the MSB until Q star. A, B, C, D, E, and F. The costs, the area under the MSC until Q star. That gives you D, E, and F. And then the social welfare is the difference between these. So you have A, B, and C. You lose D, E, and F, and you keep A, B, and C overall. And that means by producing at Q1 instead of Q star, notice that social welfare is lower by G. So social welfare decreases by G. Both of them are good-ish outcomes. Both of them have positive social welfare, but Q star has even higher welfare by G. So you could say Q1 is causing like a relative social welfare loss of G. I'm going to spend 1 minute doing this like the faster way. I'm not going to give much explanation into it. You've seen this is a difficult topic, but I'll just do it anyway, just in case some of you find it more helpful. So you could just observe that the units between Q star and Q1, if you just look at those few units, I'm going to highlight them. If you look at just these units here, if you compare the costs that they have added, so if you compare to the benefits that they have added, right? So let's look at the costs that they have added. So all these units will have added all of these marginal costs, but they have added all of these, that's not a good color. They have added all of these marginal benefits. Then what you can see is these units have added more cost and benefits of area G. So these have MSE higher than MSB, and as a result in a welfare loss of G, where G is the difference between all these benefits and all these costs that you experienced for all this quantity. That's so I'll just leave the video at that. Obviously, there will be questions outstanding, and this is maybe more detail than you need, but if you do need to understand these welfare loss triangles, I think this is a good explanation. There's more to it. I'll add some monopoly diagrams and things with time. Anyway, thank you very much for spending the time and watching this video.